Uh-oh. There we go. Now, why is that blank? Hello, everyone. It is Peggy, and I'm delighted to be back with you here today for Messages of Magic. I'm wondering if, Celine, you could just check something for me and let me know if the Facebook Live is working. I'm looking at a screen that looks blank right about now. And we're running an event here, not an event. We're running our live event right now with Facebook. Oh, so you can see it on Facebook? I actually can't see it on Facebook. That's interesting. We're on Facebook Live. Hi, Pamela. Good to see you here. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Instagram Live, and we're on YouTube Live. I want to welcome you here. Good to see you here. Motivation Seeker 999. Anil. Oh, Anil Agarwal. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Swiss Miss. Nice to see you as well. Bob Proctor, Brazil. Well, I love you. Who are these people? Let us know what your name is as well. That would be wonderful. All right, great to see you guys here today. Today, we decided that we are going to focus on addressing your questions today. There were so many questions that were submitted in advance from the post that Celine had kindly made for you. Look, Peg Hoover's here, Don Miller's here. Welcome, guys. Gail Samard. Hey, Gail, haven't seen you in a long time. Pillar, good to see you too. All right, great. So we had all these questions come in, and whether you submitted a question or not, these are phenomenal questions. And I'm going to address all of them right here, right now. And that's our purpose of our call together today, is for me to address these questions and any questions that you may have for those of you that are joining us live here right now on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. Our first question was a question that was submitted by a woman by the name of Samantha. And Samantha is asking the following question. And I think it's a really important question. These are all really important questions. It's almost like these questions were chosen for us for today. And so I'm delighted to be answering them for you. So the first one from Samantha is asking the following. Here's what she said. She says that she wants to be financially independent so that she's able to quit her job. And here's her question. Is it possible to manifest financial freedom just to be free without being forced to earn money by any work? And what would be the best wording for my demand card? Thank you so much. All right. Well, first of all, if you're thinking being forced is the way that you earn money, it is not. I am not forced to go to work every day. I love what I do. And that, frankly, is the secret to manifesting abundance in your life. The way that we're compensated, and there is a law of compensation, and the law of compensation decrees that the amount of money that you earn is going to be in direct proportion to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. But you could be earning money in a number of, or a variety of different ways. For example, money can be earned by investing money. Money can be can be earned by different ways, like trading, through real estate investments, through other types of investments, stock market, things like that. I actually have a client who's in the currency trading industry as well. So money can be earned by that. But to sit back, and I know you're not saying this, but to sit back and do nothing toward the accumulation of money doesn't work, typically doesn't work. Now, there are isolated cases where people have won money, or they've been given money, or they've inherited money, and those kinds of things can occur, and they have occurred. The idea behind the amount of money that you desire is to get clear on how you want to be living your life in that experience. And it sounds like Samantha is really striving or would love to be experiencing freedom. And that's ultimately why people want to have money in their life, is for the freedom to do what you want, when you want, the freedom to make decisions the way you want, when you want, and those kinds of things. So what you can do is describe your life, and you can do it through something called a Power Life Script, which is a program that we offer. So you describe your life. And remember, you don't have to get into details of how this happened. As a matter of fact, you don't have to know how it will happen. So describe your life as you would love for it to be. And it sounds like you've got some good ideas here around financial freedom. And you can also, if you do want to do some work where you're earning money or making positive contribution or whatever, you can describe what that is. Like, one of the things that's a really important aspect to success is to find something that you love doing and commit your life to it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the way that you're being compensated. So you could be doing work that doesn't involve an income for you, but yet it's very, very fulfilling, yet you're attracting money, or money is coming into your life from other ways. An example of that is, I have a really good friend who created a cause that's very near and dear to her heart. And it's a cause where she's raising funds for other people, and she's not taking any income. So when she raises these funds, and when she attracts these funds, and she does all these fundraisers, all of the money goes to the cause, to the organization that she's established, a nonprofit. What has happened as a result of that is a couple of different things, where she has received money and received funds from other sources that she never imagined were even going to be there. But when she declared that she was going to do this work, what she also declared is that it involved her living a very comfortable life as well. And it involved her having the funds to do the travel that's necessary and to do the other things that are necessary to get her to where she wanted to go. When she declared that, she didn't know how it was going to happen, where the money was going to come from. But a couple of people came forth, and what they did was they provided her with an income. They essentially put her on their payroll so that she has a regular income. And so she's got a couple sources of income that she never knew were even possibilities before she set the outcome. All right. So as you're hearing Samantha and everyone else, become clear on what it is that you would love, remembering we don't have to know how we're going to accomplish it, but we absolutely must get involved in feeling the connection and feeling the alignment of having that which you desire. And that's where your Power Life script comes into play. All right. So Samantha, I'm not sure if you're on the call live right now. I know you submitted that question. If you are and you have a further subsequent question, please let us know. You can type it on YouTube. You can type it on Instagram. You can type it on Facebook, because Celine, who's our amazing superwoman, she's on all three platforms right now. She's measuring or monitoring the questions, and she'll pull them off and she'll place them for me on the file that I'm looking at right now. So Samantha, if you're here and you want to ask something a little bit further, please do. All right, great. The next question is from Christina. And Christina says, I'm reading your book. It's so good. Now, I'm assuming she's reading The Demand Principle, because her next part of her question says, I'm currently reading about the sign, I demand $1 million. How do you make them? Do you create them in certain material that means something to you, or with certain things around to be more emotionally involved with it? All right, great question. Thank you, Christina. So my demand card, or my demand plaque, which I have actually in the other room, it's right beside my bed. And I talk about that in the book, The Demand Principle. My demand plaque was made by a company in the United States called Personalization Mall. Personalization Mall. Now let me just type it out and make sure I'm getting it right. Personalizationmall.com. It is in the United States. Yes, that's the name, personalizationmall.com. And you can check it out yourself. And I went to their website and I clicked on a link for, I think it was products, under products, maybe signs, somewhere in there. I might have even typed in the search box signs. And you'll see there's a variety of different types of signs that are in there that you can create. And I've done many different types of signs. I've done signs as gifts. I did sign for our waterfront home. I've done signs for here in my office. And so you'll find the variety of different types of signs that are available on Personalization Mall. So what I suggest is go over there, find one that resonates with you in a color that you really love and a font that you like, and that's where you can get it made. So if Celine, who's here on all three platforms right now, could just type in the name of that website, it's personalizationmall.com. I live in Canada. They do ship to Canada. Of course, they ship in the United States. as well. And I believe they ship all over the world. So wherever you are, you could probably check them out, or get a sign made locally if you want. It's not that difficult to have a sign made, or make your own. Just grab a piece of paper and write on it, "I demand," and put that up. You can create your own. All right, the next question is from Doug DeMartini. He says, can you change a paradigm? Oh, this is a great question, by the way. Can you change a paradigm and then go back to the bad habits? I have a friend who made millions in the stock market. He changed his paradigms, but 5 years later, he's lost the money and is back where he started. Is this from not consciously focusing on your habits, not following the law of compensation, and getting really good and staying really good at what you do? It could be. I mean, I don't know specifically what it is, but there's two real important lessons that I believe that are helpful for what Doug's question is. Number one, it only takes a little bit of poison to kill. And this could be what happened with your friend. So if someone starts to think negative thoughts, or starts to have fear of loss or lack, and they get emotionally involved in that, it's a tiny little bit of poison, a tiny little thought, a little negative thought, and then boom, they're spiraling downward. I've had that experience a couple times in my life. But Bob Proctor taught me it only takes a little bit of poison to kill. So you really have to watch your thinking. Negativity will come in and destroy everything in its path, and it'll do it so fast that you wonder, whoa, what just happened? So that's why it's so important to be in daily study, to be practicing this every single day, to get into these habits, as you mentioned, every single day. So that is a part of it. The other part of it is that this process of manifesting, of demanding whatever it is that you desire, is a daily practice. It really is. Now, I have, and you may have heard me talk about these cards that I had created, and you can get a copy of it at the manifestationtoolbox.com. It's daily discipline cards and vibrational alignment cards. So what this is kind of like, not kind of, it is where you set, these are the things, I now call them daily demands. Used to call them daily disciplines. Now I call them daily demands. So what do you demand of yourself every single day? And now I'm in the habit of doing goal achieving things. I have my list of demands, my demand book that's right here on my desk. I read that every single day. I also write out my top demand in another journal every single day. I have books on my desk here because I'm studying every single day. I study with my study partners. I do my gratitude every morning. I do my visualization. I have all these bank statements, investment accounts. I now have about 10 of these printed on my desk here, called The Demand Principle, with over 500 million copies sold, and a New York Times emblem here. These are my visualization techniques. So you want to be doing those things every single day. And what are those things? Those things are the things that keep you in harmony with the goods that you desire. Just before we got on this call today, I had about a 30-minute break between my other appointments, and I went into the family room, and I just got on the sofa. I had my two little doggies there. My husband was out running an errand, and I just did some visualization. Just really puts you in a relaxed state, good state, feel good state, just really seeing, my amazing life, and more importantly, focused on, because that's one of the things that I have on my demand of myself card, is I'm focusing on demanding more of my visualization and connection to my goal as if it's already done. See, we can always get better, always get better. So in this case of this friend of Doug's, who Doug is saying has lost everything, well, he can get it all back. If he did it once, he can get it back. So the good news is that he's done it before, he can do it again. So you want to make sure that anytime you're in a situation, whether it's right now where you're experiencing financial challenges, that you do not allow it to define you. It does not have to define you. It's a temporary situation. All right. You've got to stay connected to your abundance, to whatever it is that you desire, as if it's here right now. You absolutely must do that. If you don't do that, you won't have that. All right. So it's really important that you do that. Such a great question, Doug. Thank you so much for asking. Anna Filippa is asking a question. I've been listening to your money manifestations. Okay, so these are the morning manifestations. So if you're not a subscriber yet, it's free. Every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I release videos, and they're all lessons on manifesting. They're short videos, and these videos are less than 5 minutes. I just finished recording one before we get on this call together, and I send them out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're all messages of manifestation. So I suggest anyone that's watching this who's not a subscriber to that yet, become a subscriber by going to morningmanifestation.com. morningmanifestation.com. I see Celine. She's one step ahead of me as usual. She's already posted the link here for you. So I suggest that you do that. So Anna says, I've been listening to your morning manifestation video since last November. I love following you. I really want to change my way of thinking. I've purchased your Power Life Script program. That's this one. And I'm trying to listen every day. There's no trying. There's only doing or not doing. So are you doing it? It sounds like you're not every single day. So do it. How do I get it in my own way? Great question. I want my own house and I want to have an abundance of money. Okay, perfect. What you do is go to the manifestation toolbox, if you haven't done that already, and download the resource that I have for daily disciplines and the vibrational checklist. All right. And start doing those things every single day. You see the, sorry, I just got distracted. A question came in on Instagram. When you've established what your goals are, what you're looking to manifest in your life, you must discipline yourself every day to be doing certain things like gratitude, visualization, affirmations, Power Life Script listening, visuals, things like that. You must be doing these things every single day to get you to where you want to go. So what I established back in the 1990s is a way that I would not only do the things every single day, but I would track that I was doing them, and I would record it every day. So I created my own list, like a daily discipline list or a daily demand list. And that's what I did. And it got me into the habit of doing these things over and over again. And that's what you want to create. You want to establish yourself as a habitual goal achieving person, somebody who's doing these things every single day. So those are the things that you can do. Really be hyper vigilant in noticing what you're thinking about, because everything conscious creation is where it starts. And if you keep giving energy to, meaning you keep thinking about, speaking about, feeling about what it is you don't want, you keep manifesting more of the same. You want to break those habits, break those patterns, create new habits, new patterns that have you on a trajectory for only the results that you desire. All right, Anna, that's what you do. The next question is a question from Brenda Eldridge Mockler. She says, my question is, if I'm setting my goal to sell a certain number of books and also have some other material goals, am I interfering with the how, or is selling a certain number of books, knowing that will help reach other goals, a good goal in itself? Sure. Well, Brenda, if you're on the call live right now, you probably saw just a minute ago that I shared with you the cover that I had created for the demand principle that declares that I'm so happy and grateful that I have sold. Well, it doesn't say that on there, but it says over 500 million copies sold and New York Times emblem in the corner. Well, that's the visual that I have. That's what I focus on. But that's not my only goal. It's not my top goal. It's not even on my demand card. My demand card is actually another goal that I have. So you can certainly have many goals, and that can absolutely be a goal that stands on its own. So yes, is the answer to that question. Thank you, Brenda, for asking. All right, the next question is a rather long one, so bear with me while I read it to you, and then I'm going to address it. It's a wonderful question from Jean Crane, who may or may not be on the call right now. Hopefully she's on the call, but either way. She says, thank you so much for all your inspiring work. I listen to my Power Life Script. There we go again. Lots of Power Life Script users multiple times each day, and I have noticed great results. My question is, you've mentioned what your home environment was like growing up and how that shaped your beliefs, and subsequently how you reshaped them and gained insight and gratitude from the situation. I've been working on a book and notice how I keep stopping myself with the fear that my family will be hurt by what I write, even though I'm coming from a standpoint of insight, transformation, and gratitude, and wanting to share how others can do the same. Were your parents alive when you began speaking about your childhood publicly? And if so, and if you had similar thoughts, feelings as above, what mindset reframe did you find most helpful in moving forward? So yes, they were alive, and I'll explain what mindset I had in a moment. Also, what were your parents' response to your openness about your childhood home life? I know that no matter how lovingly one writes something, that anyone can always make their own interpretation. Still, I'm wanting to be respectful while also honoring my work by resolving this within myself and completing the book. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your new book. Thank you. All right, so and that's not an uncommon question. Thank you, Jean, for asking the question. Number one, in my book, I didn't blame anyone. I'm not saying you're going to do that either, but I understand what you're saying. It's still a sensitive area. And so I think that helped that I wasn't blaming my parents. I understood that my parents really did love us. And yes, they were alive when my books were released. The first few books were released. I think the first 3 books were released. My father was alive. My mother was alive for the release of several more. But she died, I guess, just 2.5 years after my father. And my father died in 2005. My brother died in my brother died in 2000. My father died in 2005. My mother died in 2007. No, 2008. My mother died. So 3 years after my dad. And I'm not even sure they read my books, to be honest, because I know when I told them I was writing a book, they were like, you're writing a book? You know, it is what it is. But I never let that stop me. I was never letting that stop me, because at that point I had learned so much, and I was realizing that I was in control of my destiny. And I don't think my writing ever hurt them. I don't think so. They never mentioned it. If it did, I'm not even convinced that they read my book. They might have. And actually, the book where I probably wrote the most about what I had experienced as a childhood was a book that was released after my father passed away, now that I think about it. And that was a book called Your Destiny Switch. And that book was released in 2007. My father died in 2005. But honestly, I don't think he would have been hurt by it at all. But I do think it's important, and I understand how much you care about your family. So what you can do is you can write in a way that you're only talking about how you personally assimilated what went on in your life. And you can talk about that, how you're going to share that. And frankly, you really only want to share what is relevant for the reader of the book. If it's relevant for the reader that you dive deep into it, maybe you can or you will, but I would be cautious about how you write about other people as well. We actually have a special segment in our program, in the Complete Author program, where we have an attorney that gives guidance on what to say and what not to say, what legally you can say, what legally you can't say. And what she says, it's a lawyer that I love and respect. She's my lawyer as well. What she says is something like this. She says, in good light, in other words, if you're writing about people in good light, about positive things, or in bad light, if you're writing about something that might not be perceived as a very positive thing, you still have to get permission. Now, did I get permission from my parents before I wrote my book? No. Did I get permission from my ex-husband when I wrote my book? No. Of course, a legal attorney, they want to ensure that, oh, I see, Celine, you missed the .com on that link you just posted on Instagram. So she wrote the CompleteAuthorProgram.co. It's .com. Anyways, oh, it's there. Oh, the M's there. I see. It's just scrolled off my screen. No worries. Sorry, Celine. The M is there. Anyways, so either way, just be cautious about the way that you write and respectful about the way that you write. You sound like a very respectful person. And just own your own emotions and your own interpretation from the way that it was. Like I had my sister review my books before I released them, and she's 1 year older than me. So she went through a very, very similar experience to what I did. She took no offense in any of it, none. So I think just be cautious in how you write it and the way that you word it. All right, hopefully that helps. The next question is from Rod. Good to see you here, Rod. Rod says, hey, Peggy, how important are I love this question. How important are the pre-sleep moments in determining what shows up in our material world. I'm sure you once said that whatever you're thinking about in the 5 minutes before you drift off into sleep is going to determine what shows up in your life 65% of the time. Is that accurate? What techniques do you use? Yes, that's accurate. As far as I've been told, I haven't, done a study on that. And yes, so what is Rod asking about? Rod's fabulous question is asking about a technique that I learned first, actually, from Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer, who was a client of mine, and I was blessed to work with. We both have many books that have been published by Hay House. And Wayne Dyer was a student and studied Neville Goddard, who I also have been studying now for many, many years. And it was Neville Goddard who originally had said that there was some studies that were done that determined that those 5 minutes, those pre-sleep moments just before you drift off into sleep, are critical to what's showing up in your life. So therefore, you would want to be focusing your thoughts, focusing your energy, focusing your emotions on only thinking about the things that you desire in those pre-sleep moments, because it's going to show up in your life most of the time. So the technique that I use is really, really simple. And the technique goes like this. I have a sign that I have right beside my bed, and it says, now that your dream is fulfilled, how do you feel? Now that your dream is fulfilled, how do you feel? And then you play with that. You think about that. You get emotionally involved in that. You see yourself with your dream fulfilled. And that's what you're thinking about before you drift off into sleep. All of these things that I'm talking about, including what's in the manifestation toolbox, are all techniques that can become your habits. This technique that Rod had asked about, the pre-sleep moments technique, is a technique that I learned back in 2000 and I believe it was 12 when I first learned of this technique and started to do it in 2012. At first, it was kind of like my mind's going probably in a number of different directions, calm down, fall asleep. But it took time. It really did take time and a lot of practice before it became habitual for me to just imagine and really connect to that dream as if it had already been done. So it takes time, but yes, that's absolutely what I do. The technique is an easy one. You just ask yourself that question. Now that my dream is fulfilled, how do I feel? And that's what you connect to as you drift off into sleep. So thank you, Rod, for asking. The next question is, actually, I'm not even sure this is a question. So I'm going to read it. And I'm not convinced that there's even a question in here, but here's what it says. Ma'am, I read Think and Grow Rich, Power of the Subconscious Mind, Feeling is the Secret, As a Man Thinketh. This book are saying same thing, but those who wrote them have different personal experiences in life. So they wrote it down in books. But like myself, so many people get confused still on that. Okay, I get that. Absolutely get that. And there's two things that come into mind as I'm hearing that question. Number one is that whenever anyone writes a book, myself included, and I have 18 books out there, whenever we write a book, we're essentially writing through our own filters, right? The information that we've gathered. I've been studying personal development now for 41 years. I've been on the planet 61 years, so over 41 years. And so everything that I write has been sort of like a culmination of who I've studied. And I've studied many people, studied the people that you've mentioned right here. And therefore, we all put out our own interpretation. It comes through our filters, comes through our belief systems. But what I find to be incredibly beneficial is to study a variety of different people, because it gives you a greater understanding as well. Because even as you're reading a book, let's say you're reading my book, you're reading the demand principle based on your own filter. So you're going to take it in, you're going to accept it, you're going to reject it, you're going to accept, you're going to apply, you're going to do the exercises based on how your personal paradigms are already established, right? So when we look at all the materials out there, it's like a big regurgitation, if you will, kind of like a summation of everything that everyone has studied, that these authors have studied. So you get to decide what you really love and don't love. You get to decide what you're going to implement and what you're not going to implement. So you'll have many teachers who teach the same messages or deliver the same messages in different formats, videos, books, audio, courses, programs, coaching, things like that. However, they're simply bringing it to you from their own filtration system. And you get to interpret it the way you desire to interpret it based on how you feel. That's why it's important to study different people, because you'll get something. You might be reading the demand principle, and then you may pick up feeling is the secret. And because you just read the demand principle, this may make a lot more sense because you've just read that. Plus, that's why it's important to stay in the study and read these things over and over and over again, because you're changing, you're evolving when you're focused on the growth, right? So you may come back to, I keep copies of the demand principle all over my house. There's one in the family room. There's one in my bedroom. There's one here. There's several here in my office. There's one in the family room. I have one over at the cottage, and I have some in my car. So I keep it with me because I just pick it up and I'll study. But every time you study, every time I study, we're getting something new because our consciousness is constantly expanding, right? We're expanding in consciousness to what we're learning. I remember one time going to speak at an event in Tampa, Florida, and it was an event where there were 35 or 33 speakers, different speakers, and it was all through the same organization. I was one of the speakers. And when they opened up this event, what they said was, you're going to be hearing from a number of different speakers. And I want you to know that they're all delivering the same message. And I found that kind of an interesting thing for this person to say, but then that's the truth. They're all delivering the same message in their own unique way. So I'm going to share my messages from my interpretation. Now, my upbringing was very different from what somebody else who's in this business, what their upbringing was. My interpretation is going to be maybe slightly different to what somebody else is because of my own expansion, my own growth, etc. So that's why I believe it's very valuable to study many of these different speakers. What'll happen is, as you consistently study and you stay in the study, you're going to find that it'll start making more sense. So if you're at a point of confusion, get excited, because you're very likely about to have a breakthrough. All right. The next question is a question from Warrior Boss Babe. Great name. Peggy, did Bob work with and Brian Tracy when it came to speaking and learning and launching more of that career? Did Bob work with Brian Tracy when it came to speaking and learning and launching more of that career? I don't think so. I think he worked with Bill Gove, but I don't know. I can't really answer for Bob Proctor. Who would you recommend, of whose course would you recommend to increase my motivational speaking? Ooh, that's a good question, Warrior Boss Babe. I actually had a course a number of years ago that I created, and it was, I can't even remember the name right now, but it was about public speaking. I don't know of a course right now that's available. I've been discussing it with someone else, potentially creating a course on speaking. So it may be something that we do. Actually, in part of the Power Life script, we actually have a script for becoming a great speaker. Because really, what it comes down to is effective speakers are effective communicators. They're very passionate about their message, and they've learned how to effectively speak. I used to teach courses on effective presentation techniques. And I've been through Dale Carnegie's course, and I've been through, I've had mentors and some of the best in the business. Hey, Warrior Boss Babe is here. Would love you to help with that. Yeah. So the fact that you're asking the question, it might be something that we'll consider bringing out as a program as well. But I'm really not aware of any programs right now that are out there that really would speak to that. But what I will say is that I find that professional speaking courses really involve, it's not that complicated. Like, I even know when I did create a course years ago that it really isn't that complicated. It comes down to organizing thoughts. And also in the complete author program that I teach, I also talk about taking your message from your book and bringing it to the platform, to a speaking platform, to effectively communicate it. And I also talk about taking your speeches or your presentations, if you're someone who's been doing them on a regular basis, and have that potentially become a book. So that is part of our course called the Complete Author Program. So Warrior Boss Babe, I'm not sure if you're in that program or not, but that might be something that you want to look at as well, because I do talk about that. I talk about how to effectively present yourself through media as well. So that is something that we do cover in that program. All right, then I just noticed my glasses are broken here. I need some new glasses. Okay, the next question is from Phase Design Mission. Now we've gone a little bit beyond the 30-minute mark, but if you're okay with this, I'll keep going and answer questions for you. Okay, so the next question is, how can I act and feel I already have and live what I desire to have and to be in the future? Use your imagination. The answer is use your imagination. Then she goes on to say, I think it's a she, I get lost when I want to think as if I got what I want. Well, don't get lost. Bring yourself back. Just use your focus. It's easy to do. Just use your focus. Focus will bring you back. You just ask yourself, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love? Very easy. Put yourself right back on track. Then she goes on to say, I do affirmations and daily meditation, but the life circumstances don't let me be in peace of mind. It's not life circumstances that do not let you be peace of mind. You are not allowing yourself. Nobody has control over your mind unless you give them permission, unless you give away your control. How did you manifest what you wanted to be, have, do, or be? By what I write about, by what I speak about. I decided what it is that I wanted. I made definite demands about what I wanted, and then became connected to feeling as if I already have them. Phase Design Mission, if you don't have a copy of the demand principle, get that. It's definitely going to give you the understanding of how to manifest what you want as well. The subtitle says it's your invisible guide to easily manifest anything. Chelsea says, what was the first thing you ever manifested into your life, and did it blow you away? You know, I'm laughing, Chelsea. I love your question, but the reason I'm laughing is it still blows me away. I recently manifested something that's just like, wow. And you know it works. It's fun and it's so exciting. What was the first thing? I don't even remember, to be honest. It was so long. I mean, it was 41 years ago that I started. And at that time, you know, when I really began studying personal development, my life was pretty messed up. I mean, it really was. So I probably, the first thing I manifested was just feeling better about life. And it took a while. It really did, because I was just really being pulled back by my old paradigms because they were so strong. And I had to be bigger than the paradigms and stronger than that, and really discipline myself to get over myself, which thank God I did, and manifested it. So it's still wonderful to see the manifestations of things as they occur in my life. I just love how this works. It's, you know, really what it comes down to is, if you can think about this, it's almost like creating something out of nothing, no thing. But really, what is the no thing? It's the thought, right? Like when you think about anything that's ever been created, the light, the computer, the phone, the internet, like the chair I'm sitting on, the desk, this house, it all came out of somebody's idea, an idea that popped into the mind, the ability to fly in an airplane or a helicopter or a boat. Anything has been manifested from someone's mind initially. So that's where it really all starts, and it's absolutely magnificent. All right. Veronica Castillo says, I would love to work with you and Bob. What can I do to accomplish this quickly? Well, Bob, I don't know whether he's working with people on a private basis. You can check into the Proctor Gallagher Institute. They can definitely let you know about that. We are actually full right now in our private mentoring spots, but you can email support@peggymccall.com if you want to do private mentoring with me. You can put your name on a list. I believe we have a waiting list right now. However, Veronica, are you in any of my programs right now? Because we do the $1 Million in a Month program. We have the Complete Author program. We have Getting into Hollywood. And High-End Manifestor is closed right now, but we'll probably launch it again in the future. Yes, Celine just said we have a waiting list. And but I do all kinds of open Q&A calls. I do open Q&A calls for the authors. I do open Q&A calls for $1 Million in a Month. I do open Q&A calls with Phil Goldfine for Getting into Hollywood. So a lot of people love that because they get the personal approach and they get the personal attention. They get their questions answered. So a lot of people really, really love that as well. So that might be a way that we can work together. All right, Musicopia says, what if I don't know the emotion I would be feeling if my desire is already manifested? How would I go about manifesting it? Sometimes I feel like I'm forcing it. And even even if I allow it doesn't happen. Yeah, force never works. But what if I don't know what the emotion would be, I would be feeling if my desire is already manifested? I think the answer to that is pretty simple. And here's the common answers that I hear for people that have their dream manifested. Matter of fact, let's do a Musicopia. Let's just do a little experiment right now. I'm not sure what platform you're on, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook right now, but Celine can watch this. I'm just going to ask a question of the group, okay? So everyone that's on the call right now, we've got a number of folks that are on Facebook right now, a number of folks that are on Instagram, a number of folks that are on YouTube right now. If you imagined that your goal, whatever your top demand is, has already been manifested in your life, how do you feel? How would you feel? I want to ask you that right now. So just imagine your biggest goal, the goal that you would love to have in your life manifest. I would like to ask you, how are you feeling now that you know that it's manifested? This is just using your imagination. Just imagine that your goal has been manifested. How are you feeling? Well, I know for me, the emotion that I'm feeling right now is happy, gratitude. Those are two emotions. I'm feeling very happy and I'm feeling very grateful. I'm feeling very confident. There's a number of different emotions that come up, right? So as I ask you guys this question, how is it, Deborah says, I love our open Q&A calls in a million a month. It blows me away. It's so productive. Feeling free and happy, says Bob Proctor, Brazil. Free and amazing, says Swiss Miss. Elated, says Celine. Free, grateful. I'd feel so happy. See, those are typically the answers. It's about joy or happiness, elation, same thing, just worded a little differently. Free is typically a response that we get as well. So I like that I'm seeing that on here as well. Amazing, in control. So it's going to be one of those or some of those, or maybe even all of those. Warrior Boss Babe says confident and peaceful. Absolutely. Safe, says Tammy. Grateful, says Tammy. Thankful and grateful, says Butterfly 0821. So there you go. You're going to know. Just decide. Get out of your own way. Stop saying you don't know what it is. You do know what it is, and connect to that feeling. It's probably that you're thinking it can't be that simple, but it is that simple. Thank you for answering, guys. I really appreciate you that are on the call and answering that question. Thank you. All right. Cindy's here. Joy, freedom, happy, totally fulfilled, says Métis. Wonderful. Lori says happy, grateful, relaxed, free. June is on the call, says excited. Deborah says I'm elated. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you for answering. Okay, I'm just going to take two more questions. We're going to call it a wrap for today. The next question is from Dole4 2000. How long does it take before you manifest using the thinking of the end in mind? No one knows. No one knows. It's a guess. It's a mere guess, however long it takes. So when you have that goal and you feel as if you've already accomplished it, just live from that place and do not exit out of that emotional state. Stay connected, stay in harmony, feel it every single day. And the moment you find yourself getting frustrated, why is this not happening? You're out of alignment and it's destructive. It's like pouring poison on top of the garden that's just started to grow. Just really pay attention to your emotions, stay connected. It's going to manifest. When? Nobody knows. Mere guess is really what we're talking about here. All right, the next, I see a question here from Yinka. There's a question from Pregazin Pile. Yinka, I'm going to come out over and address your question as well. There are so many amazing things to learn, and I'm doing your Power Life script at the moment. How do you decide what to do? I'm getting so excited what to do. I want to do it all. Do it all then, Yinka. Just do what you feel is going to be the thing that's going to put you in the most alignment. This has been the most powerful technique I've ever used, the Power Life script. So if you're doing that, Yinka, do that, focus on that, and you're definitely in the right activity. And then Pregazin says, I've been doing my affirmations for the past year now, and I am not getting any results. Well, it might take another year or 5 or 10 or 18. Don't know. Keep doing it. And it's not about just saying affirmations. What's most important is how are you feeling? So do the affirmations, do the Power Life script, create your demands, do your daily disciplines, do all of these things. But what's most important in all of your doingness is how are you feeling? All right. That's what's most important. You've got to pay attention to your feelings. You've got to pay attention to how you're feeling and ensure that the feelings that you're feeling are total alignment with your outcome. If they're not, you're not manifesting. Even if it's a little bit different, even if it's like, well, I'm hoping, you got to know, you got to know, you got to know, you got to know. And even if you're not quite there yet, keep doing the work because you'll get there. It's going to take some time, but you're absolutely going to get there. It's like Jay just wrote here, become emotionally involved. Absolutely. Become emotionally involved in knowing that it's already done and you will manifest it in your life. All right. Great place to wrap up our call. We're going to be back again. Watch in the Manifestation family on Facebook. We'll make an announcement and we'll make announcements on Instagram and YouTube as well. I'm going to be back to serve you guys. I love doing this. This is like one of my absolute favorite things to do is do these events with you guys. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. I look forward to being back with you again real soon. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.